Hi guys, today I will show you 10 best fighting games for PC in 2023. Without any further ado, let's get started. Guilty Gear Strive. The cutting-edge 2D, 3D hybrid graphics pioneered in the Guilty Gear series have been raised to the next level in Guilty Gear Strive. The new artistic direction and improved character animations will go beyond anything you've seen before in a fighting game. The Guilty Gear series reigns as the king of anime-style fighting games due to its gorgeous art style, and a rich, demanding, and lightning-quick combat system. Unfortunately, its oceanic depth and mountainous skill ceiling proved inaccessible to the casual player, until now. With Strive, developer Arc System Works streamlines the series' unique combat mechanics to make them more newcomer-friendly, while retaining the older game's creative richness. Strive comes with fewer extra modes than its predecessors, but there is a lot to love in this PC game, including astounding visuals, impressive character play styles, and snappy, lag-free online play courtesy of top-tier, rollback netcode. Strive is an approachable series entry that shakes up the Guilty Gear formula in the best ways possible. Dead or Alive 6. Dead or Alive 6 is fast-paced 3D fighting game, produced by Koei Tecmo Games, featuring stunning graphics and multi-tiered stages that create a truly entertaining competitive experience. Dead or Alive 6, much like its immediate predecessor, is one part fighting game, one part fashion show, and one part schlocky action movie. Individually, each of the game's widely differing elements might not stand up to scrutiny. After all, DOA 6 isn't the best fighter, doesn't offer the deepest character customization, and doesn't quite reach the Tekken series level of story insanity. Still, Dead or Alive 6 is a fun and surprisingly strategic PC game that offers enough freshness to warrant playing with its new break blow and break hold tools. Plus, the game's familiar triangle system and danger zones are highly entertaining too. Samurai Shodown. Samurai Shodown is a 2D fighting game with 3D graphics that uses many elements from past games in the series. Samurai Shodown has enjoyed worldwide success as a blade-wielding fighting game series since its first release in 1993. 10 years have passed since the last series installment, and it is now time for Samurai Shodown to return in a brand new game featuring high-end visuals and gameplay. Faithfully reproducing the game mechanics and atmosphere that contributed to the success of the series, Samurai Shodown includes a revolutionary feature that learns players' game actions and patterns in order to create CPU-controlled ghost characters. With its story set 1 year before the very first installment, warriors and combatants from various backgrounds and with their own goals are about to battle to fulfill their destinies. The controls consists of 4 buttons: weak, medium, strong blows with weapons and kick. By pressing special combinations, the character can carry out captures, counterattacks, interceptions and evasions. Each character has a super special move, which deals very powerful damage when hitting an opponent. However, it can only be attempted once during the entire match. Mortal Kombat 11. Mortal Kombat 11, also known as MK11, is an action game developed by NetherRealm Studios. The fighting game is part of the whole Mortal Kombat game franchise created by Ed Boon. Players can expect everything from martial arts to magic, ninja, robots, plot-driven battles and the iconic violence. Shinnok has been defeated by Cassie Cage, but the threat of invasion by NetherRealm is still at bay. Players can choose as the remaining cast of the fighting game, from the new batch of Earthrealm heroes to the outlandish Outworld warlords and the undead NetherRealm warriors. The game still remains the same features such as the variation system, fatalities, brutalities and mercy. X-ray moves have been replaced with desperate attacks called fatal blows. This game introduces cinematic crushing blows and punishing flawless blocks. The custom variation feature allows players to customize their characters' costumes and move lists. Dragon Ball FighterZ. Dragon Ball FighterZ is born from what makes the Dragon Ball series so loved and famous: endless spectacular fights with its all-powerful fighters. Your Dragon Ball fights might not contain the intensity of pro matches. Partnering with Arc System Works, Dragon Ball FighterZ maximizes high-end anime graphics and brings easy-to-learn but difficult-to-master fighting gameplay. High-end anime graphics using the power of the Unreal Engine and the talented team at Arc System Works, Dragon Ball FighterZ is a visual tour de force. The series' latest video game adaptation, Dragon Ball FighterZ, ditches the Xenoverse game's arena brawling model in favor of 3 vs 3, tag team fighting on a 2D plane. Its beautiful design, intense combat, and accessible control scheme add up to a game that anyone can jump into for Super Saiyan thrills. Absolver. Absolver is an online multiplayer combat game where players are placed behind the mask of a prospect under control of the guides, the new rulers of the fallen Adal Empire, who will determine your worth in joining their elite corps of Absolvers. In the ruins of the fallen Adal Empire, you awaken with a mysterious mask on your face, and faint recollections of an esoteric ceremony. Freeing you from hunger, thirst, and even death, the mask is the creation of the guides, the rulers of these lands, who have placed you here to determine whether you are worthy of becoming part of the elite corps of Absolvers. As you wander these forsaken lands, encountering other prospects like you will learn new combat styles, acquire weapons, gear and armor, and build a team of warriors with whom to fight side by side in arenas of combat. Position yourself in one of 4 tactical stances during real-time battles and execute devastating attacks, dodges, and parries. Movement becomes your weapon as you engage in solo duels or intense multiplayer melee battles. Players will define their character's playstyle by picking a combat style, a weapon of choice, and arranging attacks in their combat deck to design the unique and personal attack flow. Guilty Gear XRD Revelator. This 2D fighter is all about slapping and reslapping your foe until they are a helpless airborne idiot barely even visible on the screen. Carrying on the legacy from 1998, comes the next addition to the Guilty Gear series. All visuals have been tweaked to the finest detail and hand-polished by the animation masters to produce the top-quality hand-drawn anime effect. Game contents revamped to provide for gamers of all skill levels. You cannot miss out on this one. It has a characteristically oddball cast too. There is a guy who is simply called That Man. There is a spiky robotic bed with a comatose woman strapped to it. Hopefully this gives you an idea of the bonkers lore to be found in its story mode. The developer, Arc System Works, also prides itself on thorough tutorials, and there's an exhaustive gauntlet of learning exercises, making this a fighting game for folks who want to jump straight into something mostly traditional with lots of flashy anime pugilists. For Honor. For Honor is a third-person action game with single-player and multiplayer modes in which warriors from 5 main groups fight each other. Set during the famous period of history in which samurai, knights and Vikings fought a bitter war for the same 3 castles 1 million times. You have to capture points on a map, and cut down bothersome AI soldier boys, all while keeping an eye on your team's overall score. Fights can therefore break out anywhere on the battlefield. You might be crowded by 3 drooling murderers all at once, and get headbutted off a castle wall. Or you might be impaled by a Roman gladiator who leapt from the crow's nest of a ship onto your skull. This is a fighter that relishes in moments that might seem unfair to newcomers. But once you two are headbutting and slicing and impaling with reckless abandon, it becomes clear that unfair is just a word for people who don't know how to use a good bear trap. Even if you aren't great at swinging the axe, it's still a great place to learn all about this bloody era of unrest.
Know your limitations.
I'll settle this here and now.
You ultimate cycle.
Street Fighter V. Street Fighter V is a fighting game developed by Capcom and published by Capcom. Coming from more complicated fighting games, it can be surprising to see how few tools each Streetie has. A few fist digs here, a few toe pokes there, a handful of special moves, all of which seem to fit that character perfectly. Street Fighter V is as succinct, direct, and pure as a ball of fire conjured in the hand. It is as much a fighting game for diehards as it is a proving ground for the unbroken. Street Fighter V carries on the 2D fighting gameplay of its predecessors, in which two fighters use a variety of attacks and special abilities to knock out their opponent. New to this game is the V-gauge, which builds as the player receives attacks and adds 4 new techniques: V-skills, V-reversals, V-triggers, and V-shifts.
Tournament 7. Fight.
Tekken 7. Tekken 7 is a fighting game developed and published by Bandai Namco Entertainment. In Tekken 7 you can fight as a cybernetic ninja who stabs himself through the belly just to hit his opponent with the tip of his sword. You can brawl as a possessed man with a 2000 tribal tattoo and a pair of wings. You can play as a bear. The upper echelons of ranked fights are full of monsters who can backdash with unnatural speed, but learning just one combo with one character can go a long way to the labiffer. If a good fighting game is measured by how welcoming it is to all levels of button masher, Tekken 7 gets a big broken thumbs up,